15 editing mistakes you missed in Peppa Pig. If you're a fan of Peppa Pig, you know that the show is full of lessons for the kids. However, occasionally there are editing mistakes scattered in the show. For number 1, ambulance door. Like in the hilarious episode where Dr. Bear is giving safety instructions and is cautioning everyone to watch where they step, he accidentally steps on a ball and tumbles down a hill. He goes through a bush of prickly plants. But right before these events start, we notice that the ambulance door is closed. When Dr. Bear is brought to a halt by an apple tree and apples land on his head, we see the kids with Madame Gazelle. But something is off. The ambulance door is now open. How did it end up open, yet everyone was looking at Dr. Bear and the events unfolding? Number 2. Kids in the back. Immediately afterwards, Madame Gazelle enters the ambulance to go help the injured doctor. Madame Gazelle enters through the driver's door and the kids through the back doors. We see at the back doors is Peppa Pig and Molly Mole on both sides. So when the ambulance arrives where the doctor is resting, we see that Peppa is still there, but on the other side, and where Peppa was before, now stands Rebecca Rabbit and Molly is gone. Number 3. Madame Gazelle's exit. More to that, Madame Gazelle, who should exit through the driver's side, is seen on the other side of the ambulance, which makes no logical sense, and probably most people didn't even notice. Moving on. Number 4. In the episode where Daddy Pig uses his engineering knowledge to teach the kids how to make mud puddles, which is apparently exciting information for the kids in the Peppa Pig universe to have, when we see the scene, the pink pig is very close to George, Candy, and Susie. But surprisingly, in the next scene, we see that Peppa is very far from the other kids, as if she moved like a chess piece. Number 5. In the same episode, but much further ahead, we see Daddy Pig give a walkthrough on how concrete works and how it is being used to make the school's playground. In this scene, the kids are seen captivated with George being next to his big sister. After Daddy Pig ups the ante by stepping into the concrete, Edmund Elephant answers the question on how the concrete will harden rapidly. At this moment, we notice that George disappears next to Pepper. He gives us a scare because he might have fallen into the concrete. We let out a sigh of relief when he reappears next to Peppa, though a little ahead. Next time, somebody keep an eye on him. Number 6. Power cut. In this episode, we see Peppa and George happily dancing to the music coming from their stereo in the living room. But suddenly, the power goes out. They then proceed to make a cardboard TV to amuse themselves. So, when the power comes back, one thing is noticeable. The stereo is now facing the opposite side from when the power went out. It's probably just an editing error and not invisible people moving objects. Number 7. Ballet. Let's look at something that will strike us odd in the episode Ballet. We are all aware of Danny and that he's a fun dog who likes to play. So as Madame Gazelle is teaching some dance steps, we see Danny do something out of this world. The little character is seen jumping and then he moves from one side of the scene and appears on the other side. As playful as he may be, in order to achieve this, he'd have to run at a supersonic speed, go around the school, and come through the door. He must have been very exhausted. Number 8. Potato errors. Mr. Potato is hands down one of the most awe-inspiring characters in Peppa Pig, as he is a conscious vegetable with the ability to speak. In one episode, we also encounter Super Potato, who goes to Peppa's school to rescue Mr. Potato, who has gotten stuck in his car. Super Potato uses his impressive strength to remove the glass lid of the car, but what's intriguing is that even before the lid is removed completely, Mr. Potato is already out of his car and passing through the glass lid with his head, which is impossible. Number 9. The door. In the Puppet Show episode, we are left scratching our heads. For instance, when Peppa's family arrives at Daddy Pig's brother's house, we see that the door handle is on one side of the door when the family opens it. But when we see the kids racing inside the house, it's as if the door has reversed sides since the handle switched to the opposite side. Number 10. More door editing mistakes. As the kids go up the stairs, the door appears closed. However, as they were entering, Chloe's family is by the door, which implies the door should be open. It could just be a logic error. Number 11. Swimming. At the beginning of this episode, we can see a changing room with 4 doors, each with a different color. Take note that Daddy Pig exits from the first blue door, Mommy Pig from the green door, Peppa from the yellow door, and George from the red door. The doors remain consistent throughout the episode. However, when we get to the end, something weird happens. The colors of the door transform completely and their order is reversed. The first door becomes red and the last one becomes blue. Number 12. Magic Spoon. In Daddy Pig's birthday episode, we see the whole family join hands in making the birthday cake to celebrate their dad. We see various items used in making the cake, including butter, milk, eggs, and flour. Also next to the chocolate pieces is a wooden spoon. Mommy Pig starts putting all the ingredients in a mixing bowl, and as the scene widens, we notice that the wooden spoon magically appears next to her. It seems that Mommy Pig has a few magical tricks up her sleeve. Number 13. Magic Spoon 2. In the same scene, Peppa offers to mix the cake batter and her small brother is by her side. If we look closely at George's hand, he's not holding anything in it. However, in a split second, a second spoon appears in his hand and he joins his sister in mixing. It seems Mommy Pig isn't the only magician in the family. Number 14. Police Station Episode. It's apparent by now that things tend to magically appear and disappear in this show. This is no different in this episode. We see the Pig family head to the police station to try and find George's toy dinosaur. If you look closely at the police desk, there's a box containing 2 donuts. 2 policemen then approach the little pig to record some details, and then the whole group heads to the station's storage. We notice that the box of donuts goes missing. Did Daddy Pig have a quick snack while we were distracted? Number 15. Sand Bucket. In this episode, the mystery of disappearing object continues. In this case, it's the sand buckets that George and his friends were playing with. We see that they are next to the children. Peppa and Rebecca then get into a heated argument, each defending their baby brothers. We notice that when the camera pans out, the 2 buckets have disappeared, as if on quicksand. So even with these small editing mistakes, Peppa Pig remains to be an indomitable force in the children's animation world and continues to instill valuable lessons in kids. What editing mistakes do you think we missed?